Hello, everybody. It's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and today we're gonna make this cute little look at it's so much fun. It's so cool. I can't get enough of it. I just think it's a blast. So this is a little pull and reveal. This is from Maker's Movement. So here it is, the pull and reveal circle, and it comes with all these little pieces you see here. There's also a square one. So if a circle is not your jam, you want to go with square. They have that die set as well, and it makes this really cute little fun flippy card. And then we're going to tie that in with this super cute stamp set, which is called See You Around. It's awesome. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do, especially here, we're going to do some masking with the little porthole, and then we have our little octopus on the inside. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do, and also to show you, the papers I am using for all of this are from Close to My Heart. This is, you can see the paper sets I used here. This is all part of one set, and this is called the Mix In. And I just love the colors. It really reminded me of going to the beach and I really did pull the colors for all of it and kind of mimicked my colors I have on my card with what was in this paper pack. And so I just love this. It just reminded me of kind of like an oceany kind of scenario here. And then, you know me, I had to go with kind of like ocean colors. And I didn't want to detract too much from the action that was happening here. So I kept it pretty plain in terms of colors. And I did leave the inside blank. I didn't do anything on the inside this time around. Okay, so now that I got that covered, really nice paper pack, by the way. Okay, we're going to start building our actual die. Now, what I've done is we're going to build the card, and then we're going to go back, and I already did the octopus, and I did the stamp that's on the front, and I die cut a lot of the pieces. I'm going to do this stamping with you to show you how to do the masking. So and then we'll die cut that out, but we'll get to how to build the card first. So the first stage that you're going to want to get to, make sure we have a lot of stuff out of the way, is go ahead and build the base of your card. So I went ahead and pulled both the papers, and you can kind of decide. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Maybe you can see it with this. Here we go. I'll do it this way. So if you can see, this is the same paper. On one side, there's just a little bit of a lighter tone than the other. So it really does give you that opposite. So you can really kind of decide which way. So I went with the darker side up and the lighter side for the little tag. So we're going to put the darker side up first. Make sure I have this going. We're just going to use our Xyron adhesive for all this. Super cute, super easy. And then, you know me, I like to layer. So I just thought this looked kind of oceany and kind of had that vibe. I really did debate doing this color on there because I thought that would be kind of cool. So I don't know, you know, this is going to be the pull and the reveal part that we're going to be doing. And again, this has got a darker color and a lighter color. So you guys tell me. I mean, I don't know. I was really going back and forth on which color I liked, and maybe just for grins and giggles. So here's the blue, but then here's the peach. Do you like the peach? Is that kind of because it reminds me of coral? I don't know. What do you guys think? Voice your opinion while I get the rest of this going. Okay, so we can come back to that, and you guys can tell me, do we want to go with the same color or with the peachy? And I'll put them both here so you guys can kind of get the idea. All right, so what we have here is I have done a 3.5 inch square and a 3 1/4 inch square. And we are going to go ahead and glue these two sections together. And I'm going to do the darker side up. So just go ahead and stick that down. I love my Xyron adhesive, but really whatever adhesive you like. I wouldn't use glue, not for this. I would use a tape runner of some sort or double-sided tape. Okay, something to get it stuck together and you're good. And then we are going to build the reveal part. Now, the first step you're going to want to do is you get this little piece, and there is a die for that. So I just cut this out of white paper. You could cut it out of whatever you want, truly. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this over, and you're going to see two folds. One fold is just before the little flappy pieces, and they're going to want to fold another one just before it. And the purpose of these little flaps is it's what stops this whole mechanism from pulling out, and it flaps it open, and then when you push it closed, it stops it from pulling one way or the other. So it allows the opening mechanism to happen. And that would be a pain to cut by hand. The die is actually really useful for that. So just make sure you do both folds really well and go back and forth. I did not do that with this card, which is why it's popping open a little bit too much, I think. But if I rested something kind of heavy on that and let it set, I believe it would do its thing. All right, so I am going to go, for grins and giggles, I think I'm going to do the peachy for the other one, just for fun, because it doesn't fight when I look at the octopus. So we'll go with that. So really fold this really well and get all these this little mechanism right here. So this is what you're looking for. So when you're pulling it, that's what pops open and closed as you're pulling this open and closed. So we need to have this on here, and then it comes with these two little slits. So these are already perfectly aligned. There's just enough to fit through the paper, and we're going to line those up in a minute. And I want to decide where I'm going to have my circle. Now I want my circle to be dead in the middle. Okay. And so so you kind of guide where you want your circle, and we're going to end up snipping this so it's not as long. So really line this right up here, right here. Slide this out, and I'm going to take my first, and if you want to measure all this mess, go for it. I'm not doing that. And then I'm not going to tape this down, and then tape it down on this side. So on either side of where you want to have your pull. Now I'm going to make sure that I have these guys lined up top to bottom. Like these need to be parallel. Does that make sense? So I'm actually going to use my grid that I have on my, if I get my washi tape. So I have this grid. This is why I love this mat, because it already has all these lines on it. Hello, Danielle. Hi, Vay. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to line this up right here. And I'm going to notice that I have pulled my little circle up because I think it's good with my guide here. I have just a little bit higher up right here. I mean, if you want to measure it and you want to get a better measuring tool, go for it. But I think I'm pretty good. So I'm just measuring on either side of my circle, right kind of in the middle. So I'm looking at the green and going, it's about a quarter, eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch right in there. And then I'm looking at the top. Now, if you wanted to get a ruler out, so you can line that up and go, does that line up? And then I'm looking at the ruler across here. Does that look like it lines up? And I'm bringing it around here. Does that look like it lines up? So if you want to get pretty persnickety about it, I think you can eyeball it. As long as it looks good and pleasing to the eye, you should be good to go. Now I'm going to scoot all this mess off to the side because we need to die cut this. So I'm going to pull out my die cut machine. This is my big guy. Works awesome. It's my crossover 2. Hi, Heidi. How you doing? All right. We had a big event happening this morning. Our puppy is getting neutered today. So he got dropped off. So no puppy for the day. We pick him up tomorrow. Big things for our little puppy. So it's all kind of quiet around here now. The kids are like, what do we do? Because we've had this dog now for 2 months, and it's one of those, what do we do now? All right, so this is my crossover 2. I love it because I can dial in and dial out, and that's how I cut all the other pieces that we're using. I probably will use my small little die cut here for the other piece, just so I don't have to lug that thing back up. And it fits. I go back and forth. If I can fit it through a smaller die cut machine, I do. If not, I love that because I can cut everything, fabric, you name it. All right, very carefully peel this up, and hopefully I don't rip my paper. I had this happen with this dot. It just did it right there. Shoot. So we're going to have our dog in the cone of shame. Poor little guy. It's okay. He'll be a happier puppy now. And then I'm going to place, because these guys are too easy to get lost, back on my magnetic sheet over here so I do not lose them. Throw away my washi tape. And then now I have the 2 slits, and they're a little bit, but you know what? It'll work. It does not have to be perfect for this die mechanism to work. Now, you want to flip this over backwards. And the first step is you're going to put the little slit in here, and you're going to slide the other one in this way, or you can do it this way because it falls out. All right. So this is how you line up your mechanism. And then as you pull, and keep in mind this is going to be kind of raised, here is mechanism. I don't know, that's entertaining for me to do that. I don't know why it seems like fun, but it is. All right, now I have another circle, and I actually like to tape my mechanism. I like to have a backing to it, and you could, if you wanted to, and I'll show you with this card, This is actually 2 circles glued next on top of each other. So one's on the back side and one's on the front, which means you could do a design on the back side as well as like a little hello. So I could have done kind of like we did on the front side, but I could have another set of fish. And on this stamp set, you really could have some fun. You could put the little crab in there. You could do just some coral built on each other. You could just have some more fish swimming by. I mean, you could make it whatever you want, or you could even put the sentiment right there. So you could have a second sentiment. You could do the what's cracking or whatever, because the see you around a little bit big. So I could have put the what's cracking right there, which I thought was cute, but it's really whatever you want to do. So it gives you another opportunity to have something fun. I just wanted to have the little octopus as a little hello right there. My vet didn't want me to put the cone on unless it was absolutely necessary. Interesting. Now this guy, or our vet, she was very adamant about making sure that he was in his crate and he was calm and he didn't pop stitches and the whole thing. We'll see. If he's really into licking what's, you know, his where he has his surgery and his stitches, then we'll definitely have to use the cone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and build it with the certain circle right there. So I'm going to lift this little flap up right here. And I'm going to add adhesive to the back side. I'm going to flip it this way so I don't screw this up. So just add a bunch of adhesive right there and go ahead and glue this on. And you can already see, here's our flap. Now, to keep our flap from pulling out and doing weird things and all that kind of stuff, because it kind of wants to, see, buckle going this way, this is where you have to mount this with some foam tape. So when I originally cut out a whole bunch of stuff with my foam, I have a whole bunch of extra pieces. You're right, every dog is different. So we might be good to go and don't have to use the cone that much. My kids still think it's funny to call it the cone of shame though. After we watched Up, everybody was like, it's the cone of shame. They love that word. So I'm going to use some of these corners here. And we're going to build. I need to go a little bit less. So I have all this foam tape. So look, I can go right in here. So I'm going to build, and just kind of use up some of my extra. This is the perfect way to use some of this extra foam. Just come in and build up some of my corners with my really crappy old scissors. These are really bad scissors, but they function. I mean, I don't need perfect here. And if you don't pop this up, it's not going to function quite right. Oop, this is a little bit too long. There we go. Now, one spot that you do want to make sure that you put adhesive is right here and right here. So you put a little bit. So you can take an edge like this and cut quite nicely here. And so is that too thick? If it's too thick, you can come in and do a little shaveroonie here. That's too, I can't get my fingers in that. So I'm going to go a little thinner on this one. So, I mean, I can throw that in somewhere else. No big deal. It's still going to be too thick. All right, we're going to start here. There we go. That'll be a good one. That's a nice thickness. So I love these giant foam sheets because I can cut what I want. I can actually die cut it out, which is great. So now this little piece, it has this barrier. And once it's taped down to the card, it's not going to be able to pop out and go any further. So just kind of look from the opposite. So you can see how the mechanism works from behind, right? So we're giving it that barrier right there so it can't, it's going to hit a wall basically, and that's what we want. All right, so just need some foam on the other couple of corners. So I got a nice corner here. Let's see, how did I cut that one good? Haha. I probably have way too much foam on here, but that's all good. So that's not too hard to get that piece cut, right? And you can make whatever for this piece. I could have made this a circle. I could have made this a circle within a circle, so a larger circle. And I didn't center this really well, but that's okay. It's just a little porthole. It's all good. We're all good. I probably should have moved this over more, but there you go. I made a mistake. It'll look good still. No worries, no worries. Oops, this got a little bit extra. There we go. And pop that there. Ta-da! All right, so get rid of all my extra foam. I think I'm good. If you want to, I mean, if you want to make sure that this has a nice guide, you can also add extra foam going along here to make sure. I think I'm going to put a little bit right here too, because I have this extra piece right there. So it just gives it a barrier so this doesn't slide around and it stays contained. So it really has that nice flappy moment. So there's all kinds of fun stuff that you can put that's hiding under a little thing. So I have decided, because nobody voiced up, we're going to do it in peach. So we're going to do the back card. In this card, I did the back in that blue color, but for this one, let's go for the peach color just for a change of pace. Make it look like it's got maybe, because you're looking at a wall or something inside of the, because this is like you're in an aquarium, I guess, or like you're in the submarine. So you can make whatever you want. Wow, all the way from India. Hello, hello. How are you? We also had Minnesota in the house. We got lots of cool people here. All right, so let's get all this other mess out of the way. All right, so, work, darn it. There we go. Add that down here. It's just a different color. It'll make the orange kind of pop a little bit more. And then we're gonna line this guy up. So I personally found it easier to build all of this on like a separate piece like this. But you could build it into this piece of the card right here and have this and have it open flap. You could also have it where you have a stamped image on the back side. So this could be a white piece. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. So I think that's the fun part, is that it's just sky's the limit about how you want to build this. This is just one way. My friend Nadine Carlier, she's got a YouTube channel, My Scrap and Stuff, and she did this similar card, but with the square. So you can check out her video. It's an Easter card. It's a chick card. It's really cute. All right, make sure I'm opening my card. How many of you guys done this? You've had the card and you get all ready to do your card and you start putting it together and realize when it's all said and done, you're like, rats. That sucks. The name of the metal dies I am using are the Pull and Reveal Circle die set. And these are all the pieces that you get with it. So you get all these little bits and bobs, and it's from Maker's Movement. The link is down below for you to get it. I've given you the link for the direct for Maker's Movement, and then also there's one at Simon Says Stamp. So whichever strikes your fancy. Simon Says Stamp does not have the stamp set, but Maker's Movement does on their website. So there you go. All right. So stick this guy down. Now, could you do this where it was this direction? Totally. But I wanted to give myself a little spot for a sentiment. So we're going to build this at the top here, just right here. And then there we go. And that's the beginning of your pull and reveal. And then I have my, what's Kraken? And for those that don't know what a Kraken is like the mythological giant octopus that lives in the ocean. That's like the evil Kraken. Actually, you know what? Let's pop that up. I have some extra. So let's pop this one up to balance it, just to give a little bit of a balance. So I thought that was kind of a play on words. It's a Kraken. And it's like, because we say, hey, what's up? What's Kraken? So I thought that was kind of a cute terminology. So we're going to pop this little thing up too. And I just stamped it on white, and then I backed it with the same color of the background card. What's Kraken? Really cute. And then this one, I did the see you around. But the C, so it's kind of a pun and it's a play on words. And I just put two, because I cut it too short to do the fishtail. So I just put two little enamel dots on the side. Okay, so now you would go ahead and you would place wherever you would want to have your circle. And again, I shortchanged myself just a tiny bit, but that's okay. And so that would go there. But the first thing I want to do before I do that, you know what? I can fix that. Haha, I can move my circle. I'm a silly goose. There we go. I don't have to make my circle so big. Small little fixes before I get everything. Where do I want to have my circle? So if I want my circle to be in the center, and then I'll put my flap on top of that. However, see, look, I solved my own problem. And there it is. So now that fits. Awesome. That's way better centered than I had before, because I like this being, it looked really funny being too close. So I just put my circle on funny. All right, so that's going to go there. Now, in the die set, you get two different circles. So if you had the bigger circle on the outside, on the front, you could do the smaller circle on the inside. So that way you definitely have it fully overlapped. But because I wanted to have my octopus in the middle, I felt that the die was just too squishy and it cut off my octopus. And I didn't want to cut off any of its fun. And the big circle fit perfectly. So, and then I also felt, and again, this is just me, that when I opened it up, I wanted to see, it looked like it was in, I wanted it to be like it's in the water, right? So we're looking through the porthole And then we open the porthole up, and I wanted to look like it was still in the water. It's a little bit off, but I tried to match my colors. So again, you tell me, do we want to leave this white? So it's like a little white piece, or do we color it? I don't know. For this one, I felt like I colored it, but it almost feels like it's too off. Like it's not quite a match in the color, so it looks funny. So maybe it looks better leaving it white. So this one we'll leave it white just to see the difference and if it looks better. You can always go back and color. I colored that one after I glued it down, so it doesn't matter. So what I'm doing is I'm just lightly placing this and then kind of lining my circle up and then pushing it down. So that way this is lined up exactly on top. And that way, if it's the smaller circle, I wouldn't have to worry about it. All right, now let's build our little porthole. Isn't that fun? Isn't that cute? Ta-da! See, and that didn't take that long. How long? 20 minutes? And half of it was me chatting and being goofy. All right, so to do the porthole, you need your Misty. The Misty is super important with this. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and stamp, just on black, your actual porthole. So we got our little porthole piece. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that. And we're just going to stamp it in black. Oops, I'm going to get the other stamps. I forgot I left the other stamps on there. All right, so go ahead and stamp this. And if you guys have seen masking before, this is nothing new. Make sure you're using a stamp that is a good color, like a good to color with stamps. Not all inks are created equal. So make sure you get one that is a premium dye ink that's solvent for alcohol markers. There's one that's from Simon Says Stamp that's great. A lot of companies have them, but not all black ink is made for coloring with alcohol markers, which is what we're going to be doing with this. And even if you do it, give it a couple seconds to dry before you color it in, because you can get a smear, even with inks that say they're supposed to be. His little eyeball smeared on me. So just heads up. This looks good. Well, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. All right, so it looks like I got a nice firm thing. Okay, so now we're gonna move this little guy out of the way. And before I forget, we're gonna put it back onto the stamp set. Now, what I pulled, and you guys can see, I pulled a little fish, I pulled the little seaweed, and I pulled a little sea star. And all this is super fast coloring. But I want it to look like, if you guys look, I want it to look like we're looking in a porthole at an image, that it's not just smack in the middle. I want to look like it's covering it up. And I misaligned this little guy just a tiny bit. So how we do that? Washi tape. So I'm going to take my washi tape. If I can find the end. All right. You could also use Post-it notes. Post-it notes work good. Whatever it is, I want to make sure my washi tape, yeah, it's pulling clean. Okay, I'm going to get a clean one. You know what? I might, because this tends to pull on my paper, I'm going to grab a Post-it note. If I can find them. My kids keep walking off with their Post-it notes. There we go. I have some Post-it notes right here. Well, pseudo Post-it notes. Just enough to create a mask, right? Okay, so I want to have, I'm going to tear this. So I want to have right here, I'm going to kind of mimic just what I did on this one. I'm going to put my mask right there. Make sure, I'm just stamping it the back way to make sure there's no ink as I place this down. And I'm going to go down just a little bit right here so that this little guy is actually below, but I want to mask the stamp behind it so it looks like it's coming up from the inside. So it's kind of a hiding thing. I also want to have my fish, cleaning my fish. I want to have the fish look like they're kind of swimming behind. Now, if you had a perfect color of ink that you could stamp with that, I didn't. So these are just going to be fish that are really far in the back. So they're probably really big fish. That's how I'm imagining it in my head. So we're going to have really big fish that are swimming around in the back. And they're swimming off into the distance. That's why they're black. It's because they're a color. So if you're worried about your washi tape, Post-it notes were really awesome for this. And then I'm going to make sure that this is all pushed down. And then I'm going to place my fishies. And they're going to swim off into the distance right here. And I think I might move this guy over a tiny, tiny bit right there. And then a sea star is going to live on... We're going to put him right here. He's actually going to like hang out. You ever seen like portholes or on fish tanks? They like to stick to the side of the window. So that's what I'm kind of having him. He's like living. This one, I made him too close, so I dropped the little sea star down. All right, so I'm just going to stamp this up. Now that we got all this lined up, make sure nothing is pulling up as I stamp. And that's how you do masking. You just kind of, where do you want it to have it hide? Cover it up. I'm going to stamp a couple of times to make sure I got a nice firm clear because it's a little light. And you can see it's stamped on top of the paper. Totally fine. Oh, you know, I just remembered I actually have actual washi mask tape. I forgot it's hiding. Oh, it's just, I just realized I had that. There's so many ways that you can do that. Okay, everything looks pretty nice and clear. So now I'm just going to remove this, and these color in really well. So look, now it's hiding behind there. Awesome, awesome. Not a new technique by any means, but it's kind of a fun one that you can use with this particular stamp set. And now my little fishies are swimming, and I could come in with a black pen and clean these up. I did that with this one because my big fish, one of his fins didn't show up really well, so I kind of tweaked it a little bit. And now let's color it, and then we'll die cut it out. All right, so I put a whole bunch of pens that I liked, and I'm going to color swatch these again. I picked gray for my little porthole, so just looking at it again. Yep. So I'm going to do the lighter gray. Hopefully my light's not being all messed up. So I'm going to just do, and I'm not going to worry about shading on this. I'm just going to do the lighter gray for the outside. If you want to get into doing shading and stuff, go for it. I kind of figure because alcohol inks, see where it overlapped? It's a little, I don't know if you guys can see that, but where it overlapped the color on color, it's a little bit darker. So if every now and then I come in and I do a little bit more coloring on one section and then go overlap my colors, it's going to look a little bit darker. And if I just go a single pass, it's going to look a little bit lighter. So that's one way to take, at least for these particular alcohol markers, but I found with the Copics too. These are my Arteza ones. And truthfully, I will mix and match. You're going to see I've got 2 Copics and the rest are Artezas, and I got a couple of some Tombow. I mix and match my markers all the time. Whatever color is the best suited. So just coloring all the way around, backtracking and adding a little extra something here and there to make it look like it's kind of like metal. There we go. Cutie, cutie. So my son's got a, well, actually last night was kind of cool. Well, I'm coloring, we'll chat. For our seniors, because they don't have the ability to have prom and all the big fun events, they did a senior parade where the seniors all got in their parents' cars or their own cars, and they started at our elementary school, which is just down the street from us. And they did this big giant parade. And so you could get in the back here on the sidewalk and you could cheer them on and be all excited and yay, good job, seniors, and have fun with that. So we got to see that. And then tomorrow for my middle schooler, they are doing, all the teachers are lining up around the outside of the school, keeping 6 feet apart. And the kids and the parents, because they can't drive yet because they're in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're driving around the school and they're waving, and they can have the windows down because we're far enough away. I don't know about the windows, but you can definitely wave through there and say hi. And if you have your mask on and all that kind of stuff, you're good. And so it's a chance for the students to say goodbye to the teachers, because like my son's in 8th grade, he's going to high school, so he'll not see these teachers again. So it's kind of a way for him to say goodbye to all of his teachers. So that's happening tomorrow. Lots of fun stuff going on. All right, so because this is not got a huge amount, this goes really fast in coloring. The biggest part to color is the actual porthole. So I'm just doing a single color on this. Again, if you want to do shading on it or anything, I don't feel like when they're really tiny, it's worth it. That's just me. So I thought that was kind of fun that they're doing that for the kids. A little different. So this is a nice dark color. This is a BG18 teal blue. And then what did I do? Oh yeah, I used the coral. I'm going to mimic. I had it all planned out. So I'm going to do the little base coral that's right here. I'm going to do that in purple. So it looks like it's kind of in there. And I want to finish this. So I'm just going to do a little boop. And now look, it's like I finished the stamp. So I'm going to add a little bit of tiny color right there. Ta-da. And then I have a light, I think I did the pink for this little flying at coral piece. And there's other coral in here. There's another piece of coral right there. You could add more to this. You could have more coral growing up, but I didn't want to overdo the stamp here, or the ink. So I'm just popping all this so I don't, I realized that if I have everything free floating on here, I lose my stamps. I don't want to do that. Or my pens. So if I put them in my little Deflecto case, and this is all the ones I'm working with at this moment, and this can host, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, so 20 pens. I'm not like, where's my pen? Where's my pen? Which I just did that on here. So now they're all contained because I keep them somewhere else, so I can fill them in here, bring them to my desk, and then I take this and then I put it back over where they're supposed to go in my big storage unit. Makes my life a little bit simpler. So for this one, I've got this, it's a yellow jasmine. Just a nice soft color. You can make your sea stars any color. I mean, sea stars come in orange and yellow and purple and red. Oh, there's so many beautiful colors for sea stars. And then I took just kind of this bright orange to give it a fun color for all of its little dots, and I just dotted. Yeah, I just went right over top, trying to line up my dots, but I did one not too great. See, and that's how fast that is to color. Now, because this is the ocean, I did want it to make it look, or ocean water, seawater, I did want to give it a color. So I am using, and I found the best, kind of like this lightest, I didn't want it to be super in your face. So this is a really light G30. This is a special color that Copic came out with as an anniversary color. And I just thought it was a perfect, and I'm using the big one to start off with, just to give me more coverage, the big side. I don't use the big side that often, but every now and then I do, just to give myself some more coverage. And then I'll come in with the other side and do the detail work. And I didn't want to do this ahead of time for you guys like I did the other ones, because I wanted to show you how to do the masking. Because I thought that was important to show you guys how to do masking. Unless you already knew how to do it, which is fine. Now these are just black, so I'm going to kind of go over them. They should have had enough time. I'm not going to do a huge amount of coloring because I don't want to blend just in case, but we're good. And here's the other thing. I think of like with the ocean. There's parts of the ocean when you look at the water where there's a little bit of a deeper color and a little bit of a lighter color. So if I happen to get a little bit of a lighter color in some areas, a little darker color in others, it's like the real ocean. Doing things that are in nature and making it not try and look perfect, I think sometimes looks better, because that's what we, like flowers, we're expecting them to look a certain way. So you can also kind of, like little here would be darker. So it looks kind of mottled, which is what the ocean water would normally look like. Ta-da! All right, now I'm going to take the big circle again, line this up, make sure it's all on there but good. There we go. And for some, this was the perfect stamp set. The circle lined up perfectly. Now, if you had something that was a circle stamp that didn't line up with this, could you use a different size circle as your pull part? Totally. You don't have to use this exact one. You definitely could use a different one. Just make sure it fits within the pull. So when you initially lined up your 2 holes, just make sure go a little bit wider, but don't go too wide that your pull, it's not long enough. So you've got some room. If you look at this one, I haven't cut this one down yet. You've got some room to go all the way to the end. So you could have a much bigger circle as your top circle. Easy, easy. And then go ahead and place this down right here. And then we're going to die cut this, and then it just sticks to the top, and the card is done. Done, done, done. So how's everybody else doing? We got Danielle, we got Savaka, we got Nicole, we got Heidi, we got I think I said Danielle already. We got Vay. Hello, hello, everybody. Everybody's having an awesome Wednesday. Trailing down to the end of the year of May. Well, not year, school year, the end of May. So I'm just going to pull out my little die cut right now to make life easy, because I had it right here. Oh, I have to trim a little bit off of this side so it fits. I love the little die cut machine. I just wish it was a tad bit wider. Sometimes I'm like, it's a little bit short. Like if it was just a ½ inch bigger, it would be able to fit so many more dies. If it was just a ½ inch bigger, I think it would make a world of difference. I don't know how much bigger the whole die cutting thing would be, but that ½ inch, see, because look, it just didn't quite line up just right. So I'm just going to help it. It's because I didn't have it. The plate, I mean, this just barely fits on here. So this is as big as you can go, is right there. All right. And don't do this. I've been like trash and I forgot to pull the die off. I've done that. Have you guys ever done that? I don't know how many times I've done that. So put it back on your magnetic sheet. Oh, hi. Yay, new subbies. Oh, yes, please give me a thumbs up. I'd love a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. So I made a deal with my kids the other day. This is pretty funny. There is one more step for the pull and reveal. Well, 2 steps. Put this on and then those. I made a deal with my kids. So we live in Texas and it can get quite hot. And right now we don't know the status of our pools. And we have a neighborhood pool and we have city pool and we have like a splash park and splash pads. But all of those are off limits unless you have your own personal pool. And we don't have one. The only thing we can do is put on, a hose or a sprinkler in the backyard. Where's my tape runner? There it is. So I made him a deal. I said, if I can hit 100,000 subscribers, then maybe we can get a pool. The faces on the kids. Really? Mom, really? 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 I'm like, okay, I'm only at 13. One day. It gave him something to shoot for. So you gotta have goals. Gotta have goals in life. All right, so I'm just lining this up. I put adhesive on the back. I'm just lining this up on the front, just like that. And some people are like, does that bother you to see that little thing? Nope, not at all. And so there it is. There's our little pull reel. Ta-da! I love it. Then this one's fitting a little bit flatter because I made sure to put all of my adhesive and everything in the right spots. This one, I didn't do the greatest job about where I stuck my adhesive. And I also didn't, at the very beginning of this one, when I first die cut out this piece, I really made sure I did a good job folding this part and this half on either side of the little pull tab that's in there. I folded that really well so it didn't want to pull back on itself. And that's why this one's not laying flat. And that's why this one is. So just fold everything really, really, really well. All right, last step is you need to have your little pull piece. Now I can stick this way out here, but I don't think it's needed. I think I can put this right here. And as I was mentioning before, there's 2 different colors to your paper. And so I'm going to flip it so that we have the lighter color. So I'm going to snip my little pull tab, and you can make this whatever length you want. Don't worry about it making it look perfect. I'm going to go a little short. There we go. And then I want to have the lighter color facing up. So I'm going to do the darker color facing down. So I put the adhesive on the darker color. There we go. And then pop that underneath here. And I don't have a little stamp set or anything that says pull or press or anything like that. I need to get one. But you could just leave it plain. I don't know why I flipped it over. I need to do it on the dark side. So you could leave it, stick to my desk. I need to clean my desk again. So you could leave it plain. I think would people get the idea that they see that to pull on that? Or would I actually need to write that on there? For me, I'm just going to leave it plain. Personal preference on that one, I think I'm good. So there we go. Look how cute. I love this. Now, I did one other thing on this card, and I don't know if it's needed. I did a little bit of stitching. So right on the edge, I don't know if you guys can see that. Right along the edge there, it's a little blurry. Right on the edge there, I took this blue pen right here. I just like the color of it. And I just went and did a light little bit of stitching. I don't know. The other thing I could have done is I could have cut this square or both squares in a stitched square. I thought about that. So there's lots of things that you can tweak and try. But the main thing I wanted everybody to play with was the little pull reveal. And so the small differences are this one is colored. This one is not. Up to you. Change the background on this one, whereas this one I kept it more blue. So lots of things that you can cut. Even the same card, I tweaked little tiny things, moved my C-star down versus higher up. Lots of little tweaks and things that you can kind of play around with. So there it is, super, super cute. So we use the See You Around stamp set from Maker's Movement, and then the, here we go, the Pull and Reveal circle die set from Maker's Movement. You get all these little pieces with it. And if you wanted to make bigger circles, or if you wanted to cut a different shape to go on your pull part, this is really just the mechanism, the pull, and these 2 pieces, that's the part that you really need. This piece you can change up to be an oval, to be a star, to be whatever you like. I think that part is awesome. So it looks like you do lives on Wednesdays. I do lives on Wednesdays at noon Central every Wednesday. And if I can't come live, because for whatever reason, then I will have a recorded video going up in its place. But yeah, every Wednesday. We are on episode 69. So I've been doing this for over a year. So this is, episode number 69 in this every Wednesday card making. It's awesome. And I come back with, I try and show you new and fun ideas and lots of cool stuff and just lots of cool things. So I'd appreciate a thumbs up if you don't mind, if you'd like to subscribe. If you've not subscribed, I would love subscribers. And every Tuesday and Thursday, the kids, because we're home and we've got lots of moms that like to watch and stuff, we're doing kids crafts, which adults do as well. And then I do lots of other fun stuff, lots of cards, paper crafts, mixed media, home decor, DIY, a little bit of everything. So crafting galore. Getting your hands busy and having fun. But yes, every Wednesday is definitely cards. Yes, you can binge watch all of my previous lives. My #1 live, or my #1 Wednesday card making is one I did last summer as a pre-recorded because I was going out of town. And it was a compilation to show a fast way to make 5 different fun fold cards. So I really break it down. Instead of showing you how to do all the coloring and everything, it's just how to show you how to build the card. And so that one was episode number 31. So that was a really fun one. Thank you guys so much. We will see you again next week. Lots of fun stuff coming up. In the month of June, there is going to be another fun giveaway coming in June. Every Saturday, I have a video going up, and it's using up your scraps. And we've got a tag, we've got a card, and we've got, I think we have an embellishment. I have to look again. I haven't made the videos yet. Those aren't live. Those are all pre-recorded, but there's a fun giveaway. Hint, it's over $200 worth of a giveaway. So you got to come check those ones out. It's going to be awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Stay safe, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.